We've been fighting a long time, and we have all lost so very much, so many loved ones gone. But you are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We are at the brink. You have no idea how important you are. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Ave Maria Stella, Dei Mater Alma, ad semper Virgo, Felix te porta.
Welcome, everybody. Steve with Sensus Fidelium coming at you this great, beautiful morning with I guess we could say a wannabe politician, a suitable politician, a coming politician. Anyway, a faithful Catholic that's looking to do something in our local area, which is pretty much what I consider, and she probably would agree with, is the most powerful idea you can do, not running for DC. So focusing on here. So welcome, Ashlyn Thomas, to the program. Ashlyn, thank you for coming on, and pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
So, okay, I brought that up about this. This is a global channel, and we're focused. You're running in Warren County, Virginia. First off, because I guarantee 99% of people watching probably don't know where that is.
No, so I'm in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley, and the Warren County schools are important to me. And I think that as a faithful Catholic, it's imperative to uphold the dignity of the human person. And we have to affirm that. And so by running for school board, I and others can help ensure that policies and curricula reflect that idea that many of us Catholics hold. So I'm running because I want to advocate for virtue in education. I want to ensure that each child, Catholic and otherwise, is supported in a learning environment that really shapes their character. So at the end of the day, all of us want a just and good society. And that's why I want to be, a candidate for school board to give a option for voters. And I think that other folks should consider the importance of advocating for these children.
Yeah, I would consider this. I think I told you this last time we talked. Our friend Charles Colum hit me. How we met is Charles hit me up saying, "Steve, you got to check this lady out. Help her out. No one's helping her." I go, "Dude, this is exactly what I've been asking for the last, 5, 8, 10 years, is people focusing on their local area. Forget DC. It's the sexy stuff up there, but this is the more powerful stuff because you are directly helping or forming little brains of mush. And if there's bad people in your position, they're going to get bad stuff. So the virtuous people need to start getting involved in these non-big, in their mind, big seats to be able to do some kind of good after, right?"
Well, I would absolutely hope that other folks would stand and consider this their duty. I think we can at least realize, broader political spheres push particular agendas, but we really need to be careful about our local communities. And, we have to serve as a public witness. And I think it can be a very powerful demonstration for us to be in the public sphere and help model to the community that Catholics are not retreating from the public square. So
that's a good idea. A good line about the not retreating thing, because you got the Rod Dreher? He's got the Benedict option thing, which many people look at that as we're running away type deal. When Benedict actually put a little thing in the middle of the ground in the area, and the people flocked to him. They didn't run away, in a sense. And we don't want to be the same. All right, you were homeschooled. You for homeschooling.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Maybe the question is, people she's for homeschooling. She was homeschooled. Why does she care about public schools?
Okay, so I was homeschooled. I went to a private school for my very first formative years, and my parents said they could do it better. And so they took that big step into educating their children, and they did that with faith and love, and they did it with a great community. So if you are homeschooling, make sure that you're homeschooling in tandem with other families who can help support your values and your ideas. And so I have that homeschool background, but I also received a fantastic liberal arts education, which set me up and inspired within me a desire to step into the public sphere. So I started teaching in public school in 2019, and I was so impressed by all these young people. They were so filled with wonder. But I also noticed that we have to bring a moral compass. And there are a lot of issues in the classroom that really touch on identity. And a lot of these kids are very young, trying to make decisions of who they are and what they're all about. And so the classroom is that battleground where we can start to shift the cultural wind, so to say. And I think that the homeschool background was great for me because it suited myself. And I think that each child, a parent has to look at the child and say, what does my child need? And how can I help them just be the best version that they can ever be? And sometimes it is in the home, and sometimes it's not possible to do so in the home. And so families should not be feel guilty for sending their kids to a local private or public school because it's what their family can choose at that time. So I would love to see the public schools become more of a neutral ground rather than be a place that these students are very vulnerable. And I think we need to protect the kids from all bad ideas. There's so many different lies, which as a homeschooler, my parents were able to sift those lies and have conversations all the time. So that's something that I would at least put forward is, we can obviously promote homeschooling as being a great choice for families, but also we need to be very supportive of the public schools because that's where other parish kids are going, and they need to be protected because, we can't leave them behind. And that's why I think it's so important, Steve.
That's I told a friend of mine the first when you agreed to come on, and I told him about it, and he goes, "Well, wait a minute, why does she care about going? Stay away from the public school." Again, goes back to the idea of running away. If their brains are mush, I'm convinced if we have more people like you in all these school districts, maybe we end abortion ideas. Maybe we get rid of the SSM ideas, or the 14 different pronouns idea, what they're getting taught now. If you got somebody getting in there going, let's stick with virtue, you don't have to go in going, we're going to start doing our file at the beginning of every class. I mean, that'd be great, but you're not going in bashing down like we're doing this. Just ease that out of the curriculum. And that forms the kids from being over going crazy town when they're high school, college, adulthood. And you get them when they're young, in a sense, get them what the enemy is getting them while they're young. Why can't we help them?
Right. And I think that there are some some false ideas in different communities of what the public school actually looks like. So we don't have, in the schools that I have taught in, we haven't had students who are being encouraged to choose a different identity from what they have been given. It's not so much encouragement, but it's an allowance of these ideas in the classroom. So many teachers, they want to support their kids. They want to be a very comfortable learning and experience and environment, but it's a very subtle attack on the rest of the students is when one child is really questioning their identity and the teacher is not standing for truth because they're afraid of their administrator and being called into the office by the parent saying, why can't you, affirm my child's desire to be a cat, right? So teachers are put in they're in a bind. They're between a rock and a hard place sometimes. And so I would say that it's not everywhere. I think that in Warren County, we have a more Republican base, and the families aren't experiencing that in the classroom. That might be in Oregon, but it certainly wasn't in Texas, and it wasn't in Arizona because I taught in public schools in those two states. So in a different network. So, but here in Warren County, I'm just seeing parents, they're not necessarily up to date on what's going on in the classroom. They are getting materials sent home from teachers. They're not necessarily sure how to accompany and approach their child on their learning journey. And so if we can at least invite the parents to participate in and partner with educating the child to give the right back to the parent, to walk along their child and have some say about the curriculum. And what I mean is we have issues of who is a historical hero. And we are closer to DC, so there's a lot of talk on, this person was a racist, a homophobe. We need to, remove this person from this historical lexicon, right? And what I would at least say is consider the good these persons did, and look for the virtue, and use different heroes, and just amplify the good and acknowledge the terrible acts, but then keep going on. So, feel free to make any other suggestions, but in my view, I think the public schools are not the worst place on the planet, but we're not really aware of what's going on in the classrooms, and the teachers aren't very well supported. The curriculum is sometimes questionable because there are different ideas coming from the top. And I think that we can fix that. And I think that parents, should be very well aware of the support that they have from school board members and other people in the community.
Yeah, like you said, you shouldn't blame somebody that can't do it, can't do the homeschool. I mean, obviously, great idea, but if you can't do it, you shouldn't be shamed into what's wrong with you. You're not a real Catholic if you don't do that or anything like that. What made you decide, hey, I'm going to do something? I'm going to run. I'm going to get involved in this. I see a need to help out. What was your, I guess, turning point that made you say, all right, I'm pulling this off?
Oh, Steve, it wasn't the first thing that I wanted to do. And so when I heard that my district, the person who held the seat was leaving, I heard through grapevine who might be running, who was very contrary to the Catholic ideals and values that we have. And so I thought, if this person is so anti-Catholic, then we've at least got to, put somebody up who will defend these ideas and not be, so aggressive. And that's why I stepped forward, because I understood that my opponent, who's also running, is very aggressive with some of his ideas. So that's why I stepped forward. No one else was really interested. And I understand. I have better things to do, I thought, except that children are the best thing. Yeah. And so we need to help them. And I think adults have that responsibility and duty. So
goes into the apocryphal line that Edmund Burke is supposed to have said about if the only way evil can triumph is good people do nothing. So yeah, you had the idea of either do nothing or do something. It's I hear about all the time, like New York City with the mayor thing. People go, I can't believe this guy's right. Are there no good Catholic dudes in New York City anymore to run? Or they're upset about Minnesota. Are there no good Catholic people to run for this seat in Minnesota, or the governor's seat in Minnesota? We're focused on this area, this 10-mile square, but we let our backyards burn to the ground. Just another people watching. There's another thing about local politics in the northeast side of where I'm at in Charlotte is District 4. There's a lady that's told the football team, the Panthers, no, we're not going to fund your billion-dollar additions. You're the billionaire, you do it. And the guy running against her wants to take all this affordable housing, wants to do this, wants to pretty much destroy her area, but she listens to the people. And it's like pretty much just like a barricade, keeping it the way it is in a sense. Mm-hmm. Again, not the same thing as a school board, but
what a defender. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at going. She's now team party politics. I don't. Yeah, local's just as bad as federal. She's a Democrat. I'm going. I like this lady. She has the stones to say no to some guy that's coming in and trying to disrupt the area or change things up. Mm-hmm. Again, people might be sitting at home. Well, women should not be running in politics. I'm going, where's anybody else? You just said no one else was doing it. Where's the men? How come no one else can help out? But your favorite, good. You're strong enough you have the spine enough and the courage enough to go for it.
Well, thank you, Steve. I think that there's something to be said of credentials. And so because I have the experience in the public school and I am pursuing my doctorate in education, I have something to offer to my community.
Yeah.
And so if there's anyone who has an equivalency or more, like, please step forward. It is your duty, regardless of gender, So my hope is that more Catholics will step forward. And I understand that many women are very much committed to being in the home and supporting their families and homeschooling their kids. Great. Go ahead and do that. I am not married. I don't have children. So this is a time to serve my community. And I would hope, as I step forward into the greater calling that the Lord has placed ahead of me, that I would be able to take a step back and allow and encourage other people to serve too. But it's all about your vocation and what your calling is. And I think that if we have men who are brave and they are filled with a sense of duty, I would say, please, step up and serve and defend. That is that's your calling. So there are different capacities in stepping up and serving, but for right now, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I get on just that part about someone sitting here watching, maybe gets inspired. Let me do this, but I don't have all the knowledge on it. What would you for example, what you're running for now, would you say probably 6 months ago that you knew exactly everything that needed to be done for this? See, I'm pretty sure that you probably got in all right, I know a little bit of it, but you didn't know all of it. It was kind of like learning as you go in the sense too, even though you do have a background in it. But
right.
For somebody to say, I'm 100%, I know everything in it, nobody ever does. It's just kind of like an excuse not to do it.
Oh, well, I'm still learning. So I would say for this particular role, even somebody who has a significant experience in budgeting, there's that financial aspect to this particular role. But you don't have to have all the credentials in the world. God will equip you. And I think St. Joan of Arc is a great example of God equipping his people to further his mission. So it's something to pray about if you have a spiritual director to take to. And if it's a door that's opening to you, you just walk through it. It's through discernment. You have to discern whether or not you're called. Not everybody has the same calling on their life. So I would just remind people to discern well, realize your gifts and qualities that you do have, and also speak to those who are mentoring you or have some authority in your life that you can bounce things off of and say, does this sound authentic to myself? And does this sound authentic to what the community needs? And so that's what I would say. You don't have to be a teacher to run for school board. You don't.
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
You don't have to be. You could be a cook in a kitchen, but you could come from a technical school background, which is so needed. That voice needs to be represented. And so, yeah, it's something to discern through, and just make sure that the people in your corner can confirm and affirm you in that.
I'm going to get some hate mail for this one, but I remember at the beginning of Francis' pontificate, he did have a thing when might have been an Angelus speech, telling Catholics to get involved in politics. And a lot of people they think federal, but they don't think locally. And how many schools probably do you think are in your district?
I'm sorry?
How many schools are probably or in the school board there? How many probably schools are in that district?
Oh, are you talking about public and private? Because
whatever you would be running over, I guess.
Oh yeah. So I have about 3 larger schools that I am going to be assisting, hopefully. But I want to go back to Pope Francis and what he had recommended to Catholics, because I think that's a really good point. His point was that you do have to serve as a public witness, and you can do it in a really quiet way, but it can be very powerful. So we do need to demonstrate faith and civic engagement. We need that. It goes hand in hand. So you can represent a vast amount of people. You can represent a very small amount of people, and whatever the case is, it doesn't really matter. It could be 10 good men still in the city, right? We just don't want to destroy the whole thing, and that's something I would want to remind you and other people.
And the reason why I was asking about the number, I was thinking, all right, it was probably,
well, per campus you have about 500 to
800
students. So per campus you have about 500 to 800 students.
Yeah.
So I would be representing at least 2,500 students, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going with on that. Just saying, it's not like you're not doing anything to help one person. You're helping thousands.
Well, it's a small number still. It's still very small.
Compared to bigger thing, but that small could be. It's just like an avalanche. Start small, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't run the marathon by let me get off the couch and just start busting. You got to work. Get that first half mile, get that first mile.
Right.
But just the small things equal big down the road.
It does. It really does. Yes.
I don't know. Being the quintessential Southerner, if anybody's ever read from the Kennedy brothers, they talk about the Pledge of Allegiance and how did they get that in? It was a propaganda tool, and they started it in the kids. They started with the schools to get those, as they said, brains of mush indoctrinated into loving the state in a sense. So again, if no one else came in at that time, maybe things would have changed in certain areas. So again, anybody watching, she saw the need, wanted to do something about it, and did something about it. It's acting locally, thinking locally. I say all the time, what Brian McClanahan has coined for years. It was so exciting to hear somebody was actually doing this. I know 4 people in Dallas, a couple was 2 or 4 years ago in Modern Day Parish. They had 4 guys running locally there, and I think 2 won. 2 maybe, I don't know exactly. I think 2 did. So it'd be great to see again more of this stuff happening.
I'd love to see more of it happening because, patriotism is actually considered a virtue, believe it or not. Not nationalism, but patriotism. So we are.
Well, I don't know if you see what I always say. I always tell, hey, your country is synonymous with state. If you ever read the news, they say the state of Israel, the state of Jordan, the state of Italy. State is the same thing. The country of Georgia, your country of North Carolina, your country of Virginia. The founders said, hey, we're Virginians. Yes, that ended in the 1860s, but the 19th century nationalism that came in. But yeah, your homeland, that's your home.
It is your homeland, and we are called to contribute to the good of society. So I think that's something that we all need to keep in mind, is it's out of the love and service of our country and for the love of the kids, in this particular position that I'm going for. So, but yes, first of all, it all starts from love and a desire for the common good. And we can do that in our families. We can do it locally. I loved what you said, think locally, act locally. And it's a call to action. So patriotism does matter, and everyone's voice is very much needed. Every Catholic voice is very much needed.
Yeah, they say the lady that's running the school board, and she's acting right and virtuous, and kind of Garcia Moreno style. The president of Ecuador. They go to mass every morning. Before he started doing anything, they knew where he was going to be, and he still got the job done, and people wanted him to be in it, to the point that you're not like running, please elect me, that they're wanting, we want you to stay. I don't know, how many terms can you hold up there?
Well, for this, the first term is going to be 4 years, so I could keep running, but I'm hoping for a good 8 years, and then I can bow out gracefully.
Anyway, here's a website, by the way, and you want to take anybody through it so that if they come to scan through what they expect, or how can they contact you? And
yes, go ahead and contact me through my email, which is down at the bottom. Or you can send it through the website, and I would be happy to respond. Just give me a few days.
Can anybody support you financially, or do you need that, or
I
what?
am
What do you
so
need from people to help? Or,
prayer. Oh my gosh, prayer,
oh
please.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I am not accepting any donations. I don't think it's needed. I have my signs going up, and I've been making phone calls to my local my local residents, and everything's just very organic. And I want to be a very responsible with the my own personal funds. So I'm not accepting donations from anyone, but I am accepting prayer. So, and
No good.
I do thank you for asking about that.
Well, yeah, I
You
ran
don't have to
for.
have money. You don't have to have money to go and try to do something good in your community.
I ran for South Carolina House seat 75 back in 2010, and spent $0.
Hmm.
Didn't accept, didn't have anything, didn't run, didn't, and they tried to send me a receipt. I go, dude, I didn't spend $1. I didn't even get a nickel at one interview, and still had, it was like 600, 700. It was like the second or biggest votes in all the elections that were going on. So yeah, you're right. You don't need it. And then you're
Don't.
probably hitting the boots on the ground. I think that's how AOC got in, knocked on the doors, talked to people. It's the old school way. You go up and say hi to people. It's a face-to-face experience, and people start liking you.
Yes, you do. You do start to meet more people and share why you're doing what you're doing, and at least explain what you hope to do to make their life better and to make the community a little bit better.
So obviously prayers, but if anybody's in the area, they could help out maybe with a sign or the. I know if you're living in I brought up Dallas. If you're living in Dallas, you probably don't need a sign in your front yard. It'd be useless, but obviously the prayer from that area. So anybody locally in the area in the Shenandoah Valley can please help out, support, reach out their contact to be able to put some signs out, and maybe some T-shirts. I don't know, bumper stickers.
Thank you very much. Actually, I do have volunteers to hand out ballots on early voting as well as on November 4th. So I do have some wonderful local people who also believe in this mission of bringing virtue back into education. So, but yes, prayer is wonderful. And also, I would say look at your own community and see what you can do. You don't have to be in Warren County, Virginia, to try to make a difference.
Amen to that. Well, Ashlyn, thank you for your time on that. Good luck to you on this. Obviously, please everybody say some Hail Marys for her.
Thank you.
Anyway, keep us updated on things. I'm sure I'll be in touch and let me know when November comes closer. But yeah, no, thank you for doing what you're doing. And yeah, good luck.
Thank you. God bless you, Steve.